Welcome to Lanterns Live, the only live stream YouTube channel dedicated solely to Green Lantern. I'm Ralph. And today I'm talking about Green Lantern 30 along with Will Smith. Well, we were just talking before this about all the things that I was like fumbling through to get the show live. And as soon as I hit live, I got this big giant blue banner across the top of my screen. Yeah, that said to simplify our structure and supporting long-term improvements to StreamYard. StreamYard, the company that previously provided your service, has merged into its parent entity, Bending Spoons US Incorporated. This means that starting January 1st, 2026, your service is now being provided by Bending Spoons US Incorporated. No action is required on your part. Everything about your account, including how your personal data is processed, will remain the same. And there's like platform terms and private policy. Like, that's a hell of a thing to spring on someone when they just start a live stream.
It would be something that would make more sense once it noticed you logged in. It's like, boom, hey, new TOS update, we're going to be this new company, whatever. Not as you're going live, like a big blue flash to scare you.
Live, a giant blue banner popped across the screen. Usually when that banner pops up across the screen, it's like letting you know, oh, you're not live with like Twitch or something's happened and you're not live with Kick or whatever it is. So I like panicked. I completely panicked. And like maybe an email would do.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. How you doing?
I am great. I really enjoyed this issue of Green Lantern 30. I gotta say, it might be my favorite main run Green Lantern issue in quite some time, despite the fact that there is no Kyle in it at all. I just like the story throughout of what has happened and where we are going. I'm really pumped to talk about it.
Me too, because I loved it. I thought it was great. Nothing against last month's issue with Green Arrow, but this one was real good.
I felt like that was a solid, sidebar type issue. And I thought this was going to be more of the same. So maybe that's why, or it's played a role into, I thought it was going to be more of the same. So I had the expectation lower for it. Plus, hot take, I don't love Batman in the same way I don't care for Superman. Like, when Batman pops up for me, outside of like the old animated series, I always see, and this could be completely false, but I feel like when I jump into a comic and Batman joins somebody else's run, by the end of the issue, I feel like Batman comes out looking like gold because DC loves him, and the other characters he was interacting with don't really come out looking better by the end of it. Like, they're always lesser to Batman, and I don't feel like that's what happened in this issue at all.
I felt like it was heading that way.
Yeah, for a minute there.
But I think it's now. Here's the thing. Well, first of all, I want to show you something because today I got something for my photography, and if you guys notice, the haunted light is not on today because I got for studio shoots, I can do lighting, and I can't do this now.
Ooh, I like that.
Let's put it up to there. Cool. So now Kyle won't be flashing on and off.
There you go.
Dude. Okay. So, last month I was talking about Green Arrow and I was like, oh, this feels like a way for the writers just to kind of do a side quest during the holiday season. I hope everybody had a great Christmas, have a great holiday, and then Happy New Year coming up.
Yeah.
And so I probably kind of just brushed it aside a little bit. And I really, really wasn't looking forward to this issue. I do like Batman, but I'm not a Batman reader. I grew up in the 80s. I was 13 when Burton's Batman 89 came out, which was a huge deal. It was a huge deal. Batman was coming out. They started doing reruns of the Adam West series on TV. And so like any kid from that time period was like default a Batman fan. like, and the first comic I ever bought was a Batman issue, but I also bought it with Green Lantern #1. Like,
there you go.
I was able to get like 2 comic books, probably for like $1 or something. Got 2 comic books. Those were the 2 comic books on a road trip. And I really like the Batman story, and the Green Lantern story introduced me to John and Guy. So like, those are really big books, but I think the last Batman thing I've ever purchased and read was, and I don't even know if I still have it up here, is Batman Earth 1. Like Jeff Johns wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing a signing at my local comic book shop the day it was released. So I bought it and he signed it, and I got a picture with Jeff Johns, and he signed some other things like my Secret Origins and stuff like that.
That's it.
Yeah, cool dude. But I've never really been like, I like seeing Batman. I like Batman movies.
Yeah.
I think Ben Affleck might be probably the closest representation to what I think Batman is in the comics. I really like his Batman. I think Robert Pattinson's Batman's really good. And I'm looking forward to Batman 2. But yeah, he's not like, I don't really read.
Yeah, I don't seek
Batman
anything
books.
Batman out. But if,
No,
the movie's different story, because I always feel like we're going to get a pretty solid comic book movie when they're putting out a new Batman. That always seems to go really, really well, and it does numbers at the box office, so that's great. Outside of absolute Batman, I don't read any Batman comics. I know there's a billion out there all at once because Batman sells like crazy. But yeah, I think just my issue isn't really the Batman character. It's that when he crosses over into, if he's going to be in a comic book with Aquaman, by the end of that book, you're going to think Batman's really, really awesome, and Aquaman's not quite as cool. When it comes to Green Lantern interactions with Batman, I feel like a lot of times Batman's putting down the Green Lantern, and it just, to me, it feels repetitive, and they do it all the time, especially with, Guy. He's always giving Hal crap. That's kind of what I was expecting when we finished the last issue, and it was like, and next time we're going to do this, but with Batman instead of Green Arrow. And it's kind of like, I don't know. So maybe my bar was low. And then as I was reading, I was like, I really dig this issue.
Yeah. Batman, George Lopez and Blue Beetle, Batman as a fascist. The funny thing is, like, and it says Curtis Evans Chicago is a member. Thanks for joining the honor guard. We have a new emoji now. It's a boxing glove, which won't display on StreamYard, but you can see it in the side chat for those of you who are watching, and also in the comments. I think it's a Dave. I think your name's Dave. It says Curtis Evans Chicago. I swear his name is Dave in other places. I don't know. He can clear it up for us. But because him and Darren both joined, I was able to add another emoji to the list of things. I put it to a vote, and it came out. A boxing glove construct came out before the other one that was kind of trending was which I'm gonna end up putting on the emoji list, is I'm calling the Guy Gardner Tank Buster, which is a green construct of the middle finger.
Yes.
Which I don't know if like YouTube has like regulations against certain emojis being used, but I mean, it's basically the emoji design that's official on all emojis, and it's just a green version of that that I've recreated. So I'm hoping to do that soon. I'm actually thinking of getting rid of the core man and the core woman things, and just like popping in some other construct emojis. I also did one. Yeah. Okay. It is David. I did a little emoji of the Kyle Chandler logo with the sort of gold and green ring front.
Yeah.
So I might get rid of the core man and the core woman one, just because I don't know. They tend not to get used as much, and also I like the other ones I have, which I made a emoji fist, but it has a Green Lantern ring. And then also I made a power battery emoji. And I think I kind of want to stick to more stuff like that, like really like Green Lantern centric stuff, like just having a woman or a man holding up their line. That's fine, but I want to get some more. I'm too anxious to wait for new members to show up. So maybe the core man and core woman will show up once we start getting more and more folks subscribed. But it's kind of fun. I kind of enjoy it. And then just a little bit of business here. I don't have any. This is the last scheduled live stream that I have as of now. Usually you can go to my page and see the upcoming live streams. I start a new job a week from today, so I don't know what my schedule is.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks. And I love that it's part-time because I'm going to be able to still do the streams like on a weekly basis, if not more. It's just I don't know what my days I'm working. I don't know what hours I'm working. But once I get like my first schedule, you'll start seeing my upcoming live streams popping up. But so don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. But next week, I think there's no real books coming out next week. And so I will do I've got a members only live stream to do, which may actually be a pre-tape. I might do a pre-tape, which I've never done. And I think that's going to go out to members only. And I think that's going to be me showing everybody what's going on back here. I'm going to grab my camera. I'm going to shoot around here and walk around my setup back here. And then everything that you can't see facing away from my camera. So anytime I like grab one of these, you'll see where these are. So if you want to know, like, where does Ralph grab that chase lawn from? You'll be able to see. So I'll show you my setup because I don't have a ton of stuff back here, but I have a ton of stuff facing me. So I'm thinking on Monday, you guys will get a pre-taped tour of my corner of the internet. So
I have an album of what's coming up next month. That way I can like plan out social posts. The only thing I can see coming out early January is Absolute Green Lantern number 10 on January 7th. So that's like the middle part of next week. So you'll probably still have time for that. And then DCKO, if you're keeping up with it, number 3 comes out on the 14th. And then on the 28th, you have Green Lantern 31 and the final issue, Justice League Red number 6.
Justice League Red number 6.
Final one.
Boy, okay. So you said you watched my stream about Justice League Red 5, which was on Friday. What are your thoughts on Justice League Red 5?
I want to be clear. I posted my review on my website, greenlanternspodcast.com. I did not let your review influence my review at all. But it's going to feel very much like plagiarism has happened because
okay.
I've actually really enjoyed Justice League Red, and it's been a surprise. And I've liked Simon in this run, and I feel like they've been setting up this Justice League Red team that's put together, and Red Tornado to be like the brains behind the operation. Everybody comes together for a greater cause. But obviously, Red Tornado has been spying on the group in order to recruit them, and he's been spying on stuff that he thinks is going to like predict what's going to happen in the future, and that's why they're on these missions to do what they're doing to fix anything terrible from happening. And then they introduce Black Adam, and it seems like he's going to be
issue 1.
I think he was teased at the end of the first issue, and he was in the second issue. They finally meet up with him. He whoops everybody, easy peasy, which, okay, whatever. But despite Red Tornado, this, AI, being the brains behind the operation, Black Adam is even greater brains behind this side of the operation, where he's been able to not just watch our heroes, but also predict that Red Tornado potentially has gone rogue or something has taken over him. And he has also been more or less stalking our heroes because he knows exactly what happened with Simon and his cousin that would allow him to not question being recruited. Like, it just seemed like he was so overpowered in the issue. And what started out where I was like, oh, this seems like it's going to be a fun issue. By the time I got to like the middle part of the issue, it was kind of like, it became very clear to me that they were told you're getting 6 issues, and they were like, we've got enough for 5. And they're like, well, you're going to get 6 because that's how we do the mini runs. And they were like, okay, well, we'll just do a bunch of filler for this and then get you to issue 6 next month. Like, I just felt like it was very predictable and not in a great way.
Yeah.
And I was just let down by the middle part of the issue, and by the end of the issue, I was like, okay, well, now I'm at the point where I'm reading it because I'm one issue away from finishing it.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it's like this whole time, it's been the, like, Power Girl will go off with Simon and they'll question Red Tornado, but they're like, we got to see something. If there's something to this, we got to see it through. And Black Lightning was basically like, don't trust Red Tornado. And they're like, they haven't the entire time.
Right.
So the whole episode, the whole issue was like nothing. Yeah.
But also on their flight back to JL Red headquarters, which is where Tornado's been hanging out, on their way back, they are met with like these red constructs of things that they have already fought. And then they have this debate afterwards. They're like, oh, this must mean Red Tornado is in trouble. And they're like, or this means Red Tornado sent them. Why would Red Tornado send such weak things to fight characters? Like, it wasn't much of a delay. And if somebody took over Red Tornado, why would they waste the time? It just seemed like they were like, we need something for a couple pages.
Could it be the writer doing a commentary on DC adding a filler episode or filler issue and being like, fine, if they want more stuff, here's a dumb thing that nobody cares about that's going to be a slight inconvenience to the heroes. It was like,
I don't know. It didn't hit for me. But there's other runs where it's just 6 issues or something, and I think maybe one issue might not be as good as the others, but overall it's been really good. I would say there's been 3 for sure. I feel I could recommend them issues from Justice League Red 1 through 3, and then 4 is a little and then now 5 it's like well, hopefully 6 sticks the landing.
Hopefully, whatever that landing is, I'm sure they have something in mind.
The last time I read a 6-issue run knowing it was only 6 issues was Alan Scott, The Green Lantern by Tim Sheridan, and I recommend that thing to everybody. Yeah.
I need to read that. I want to read more Alan, but with like Comixology and stuff, you can't forget it.
I might have a login for like DC Universe Infinite you could borrow.
But I don't see anything. They have one old Golden Age Alan Scott story with Vandal Savage, I think. Like the first appearance of Vandal Savage. Shit. Thank you. During my not getting ready in time to do the show, I forgot to fill my water. I thought I did, but I didn't.
Got my trusty Mountain Dew.
Go grab me some water. I got little cans of Mountain Dew too. Maybe I should have got one of those. Perk myself up. But there's only one, and it was like it came out on Comixology around the time they had like the Green Lantern Comixology app, where you can only like read. They had just a place where all the Green Lantern issues were, and they like released it around the time like Vandal Savage was in like Legends of Tomorrow or something.
That makes sense.
But the thing is, like the really the only way you can read it, thank you, is like the archive editions. Like those archive editions, which I should probably look into. They probably cost an arm and a leg now. Like I have the Silver Age archive editions, and I mean at the time these were like $50. So I'm assuming that the Golden Age ones are probably harder to find. But you would think that they had like digital versions of that to print up for for that copy, and they could just put them onto the app, but they don't exist. So I really, Alan Scott is a huge blind spot for me. So I should definitely pick up that 6-issue arc because I heard it's really, really good.
It is really solid.
Yeah. All right. You want to get back to Batman?
Yes.
Let's do this. So basically it's Hal going to Gotham to find Batman because Batman has equipment and stuff that he can do to kind of like do an MRI, like a super scan of Hal because of the flashes and weird imagery he's getting from touching the Book of Oa.
Yeah, so for those who aren't like fully privy to what's been going on in the main GL run, Hal had his name appear in the Book of Oa. He touched it, and it's just been like imagery for him, flashes. He's kind of like freaked out a little bit about what's going on, and he's going to the world's greatest detective in hopes that he will be able to really get to the bottom of this and be able to tell Hal exactly what's going on and figure out how they can fix it, cure it, stop this, or if this is just something that he's got to deal with, basically.
Yeah. And I want to say in the last issue with Green Arrow, I don't know if there's any sort of tie-in with the main book that I remember. This felt a little more like it was tied to the main book by bringing up the Book of Oa.
Yeah. No, I think in the last issue, it was just we see Hal, he joins up with Ollie. They go to a bar. They fight some guys, and they're like, whoever beats up the most people without powers wins. Yeah. And Ollie kind of calls him on it, and he's like, what are you doing here? And he explains it, but he's like, no, but like, it's me. What are you really doing here? Why are you visiting me out here? And, you know, he's kind of telling him he's going through it. And that's what pushes him to recognize that he needs to go see Batman in Gotham, even though he doesn't really love Gotham, and it seems like Batman's always talking down on him. But, you know, it's something that he felt he needed to do.
Yeah, the thing I like about this, though, is there is a relationship with Hal and Bruce. We saw that in one of the earlier issues of this run with Jeremy Adams, where we find out that he is Hal is basically a test pilot for all the bat gear, the flying bat wing and stuff, which is, I thought, was one of the coolest things to be brought into sort of the Batman Green Lantern lore, because it makes perfect sense. If you're a secret superhero, if you're Bruce Wayne and have, you know, all the money in the world, you still can't just have anybody go test your planes. And so it made sense that Hal did that. So I like that relationship. In this, Hal seems like he enjoys annoying Batman by pressing all the buttons in the Batmobile and just talking his ear off. He's like a kid in the back seat of a car during a family trip asking if we're there yet. Constantly telling Batman, like, hey, you know, I could just fly there.
Yeah.
Right?
I even like the opening to it. You know, we're over in alley and Batman stops like a mugging from happening. And as he's beating up the bad guys, the sky lights up green and he looks over at the people he just saved and he's like, go home now. And you look up into the sky and it's the bat symbol, but it's not through the light. It's Hal making it with his power ring. Right. Then Batman goes to visit him where Hal's like humming or singing on the edge of a building. And Batman does the Batman thing where he like sneaks up on him and it like makes Hal kind of like fall off the side of the building before catching himself. It's just they do have a fun dynamic. And right after that happens, as he's going to talk to Batman, he has one of those like all these things are rushing through his head from like the after effects of the Book of Oa issues that he's been going on, which I guess is from Krona having done something to the book, but we don't know fully what.
Right.
And he's like kind of passing out and Batman has to save him. And then from there, when Hal comes to on the next page, we get to it, they're in the Batcave. which even as somebody who doesn't care for Batman, I love the Batcave. I think it's such a cool idea. There's always awesome stuff in there. And then being able to see some of the tech, like I've got one screen in front of me and 3 for work over there. Batman's got like 57 screens and all this cool stuff. And he's just, there's all these things floating around Hal, and they're like kind of taking his temperature basically to figure out if they can see what has been going on. And the whole time it's like Hal talking to Batman, which annoys Batman because he just wants him to shut up and let him do his thing so he can help you. But then they get interrupted, kind of like Hal and Ollie's conversation. Not that it gets interrupted, but because there's people nearby causing some issues, they got to go handle it, and then they get to go on a little team up adventure together. Hal Jordan and Batman, which is those are really cool to me.
Yeah, and Highball brings this up, and I was going to bring it up as well. Highball says he felt the issue was very derivative of the short story that Jeff Johns did with Hal and Batman versus the Tattooed Man. I feel a lot of Jeremy Adams' run has been too similar to Jeff Johns' run. One of the things that it's one of my favorite bits that happens, I think, during Blackest Night, somewhere in that storyline, where it's Batman and Green Lantern alone on the Watchtower, and it's basically silent. Like they're basically forced to do small talk. They're just both just looking out the window. And it's when Batman discovers that Hal Jordan saw his dad die at a young age. And so going into this issue, I was like, I wonder if that's still something that's there, because I love that moment. Because before that moment, they were really at each other's throat a lot. It really shows in like the New 52 run, and I've seen it a billion times. The like 10 seconds animation from Justice League, one of the Justice League animateds, where Green Lantern's giving shit to Batman, and before he knows it, Batman has taken the ring off Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, and people like to talk about that and how Batman's cool, but whatever. I was there during Rebirth when Batman got knocked out by Hal with one punch.
One punch, baby.
So there's always a back and forth, but that moment in Blackest Night always got to me because it was like they finally have something to connect on, and it's one of the things that defines them, especially defines Batman, is both Martha and Thomas Wayne's murder and the death of Martin Jordan. So I'm glad that this is in here.
Yes.
So so for me, it does feel a little similar to Jeff Johns' run by bringing that up, but I think it's been something like 15 years at least since that conversation happened, that it's nice knowing that Jeremy Adams is such a big fan of Jeff Johns that this was a reminder of that conversation. Like, this is it. So for me, like, it's been 15 years since we saw that, at least. So it was nice to see that they were bringing that up again, just to remind people of where they stand relationship wise and how they respect each other for their origins. And, you know,
yeah. And if you are going to quote unquote, like, bite somebody else's words, I'm okay with it being from something that, you know, people look back on, and that run as a whole is pretty legendary. So, like, you know, paying respects to what has come previously and how it's done here. I love the whole small talk conversation in the car. I love the chat about, I should scroll while I'm talking, but they're in the car and Hal is telling Bruce, so when you said that's why I was here, that's when Bruce cuts him off and he says, "You're here because we aren't friends. You wanted an honest assessment from someone you think doesn't care about you." And before he can go, and he's like, that has to wait because they had to get out of the car. But like, that was the difference sort of between the Ollie situation and this situation. Outside of being the world's greatest detective and having access to all these things, it's Ollie's a friend. So you kind of go see friends sometimes, and they kind of tell you what you want to hear, but they recognize that that's not also maybe the best thing for you. So then he kicked them over to Bruce because Bruce, regardless, doesn't have, you don't think he's got that connection with Hal where he's going to like try to coddle his feelings. He's going to tell you exactly what he thinks the issue is, and if he's got a solution for it, he's going to tell you that too. And they're just having this nice conversation in the car about it where I thought we were going to have this emotional moment, and then it was interrupted.
Yeah. It also, one of the things too is they might not be friends, but they understand that they're allies, they're coworkers, and they respect each other, but they also understand what they bring to the table. So where Batman is probably the best person, maybe Mr. Terrific would help as well, but it sounds like Mr. Terrific helped build this tech, is probably the best person to go to do a mental scan on Hal. And yes, he's not going to get it sugar coated by Batman. He knows that, much in the same way that Batman respects Hal enough to let him test pilot his flying vehicles. Yeah. Like, they're not friends. Like, I have coworkers who are coworkers, but I'm not going to go have drinks with them like after work or something.
Right.
You know,
yeah. We all have people who you work with, or they're in the same company as you, and they might drive you up a wall, but you also know that when push comes to shove, they're going to get their stuff done that they need to get done, so you can do what you got to do and make the company better as a whole and make sure you're, meeting goals and quotas or whatever. That's kind of like the relationship that they have.
Casey has a question here about that Book of Oa, the stuff going on. Mm-hmm. So is Hal now a spiritual conduit of the Book of Oa? Something's been imprinted. We know that Krona is still out there, and we see an image of that in this issue where it's the Krona trying to become Hal Jordan, and he's got almost looks like Two-Face. Yeah,
it's like he's like melting almost like like Two-Face or Clayface, something like where it's not holding up well, so it starts like melting his face. It seems like he's trying to clone or replicate whatever Hal is to him, but he's not been able to do it successfully yet. So maybe there's something that's missing, or maybe potentially he needs Hal to figure out what's going on, and then when he has this aha moment, what it really does is unlock, Krona's full potential to maybe take over Hal's body. We don't fully know, but that's another reason to go see Batman, because you're in a pinch. You don't know how much longer you have until something could go really bad, so he's there. I don't know if it's a spiritual conduit for the Book of Oa itself, or it's a spiritual conduit for a Krona-damaged Krona-influenced Book of Oa, where it's not the proper book because it's had this evil influence on it. Not 100% sure there. And honestly, they have to clear it up in the next couple issues, because Hal isn't going to be the main G all this run going forward for a little bit at least.
We'll talk about that in a bit too. Liz brings up a question that I want to answer. If you become a Yellow Lantern, do you immediately have to become bad? You don't even have to become a Yellow Lantern, because Batman got a Yellow Lantern ring and it got on him and he denied it. Or was that a Green Lantern he denied? He denied it. But I believe
he's been a couple different colors too. I think he's been yellow before as well.
Yeah. If Sinestro, listen, is Sinestro bad?
I was gonna say it's almost like a moral compass issue where Sinestro he believes in his head that he's doing what he has to do with fear, because he doesn't feel, when it comes to policing something, that the way the Green Lanterns operate is always the best way. It's kind of like that debate with superheroes where, do we just put them in Arkham Asylum, or is it okay to kill them? Because if we put them in Arkham Asylum, eventually they're going to get out and they're going to go back in the streets and they're going to cause all sorts of issues again. Or if we kill them, they're never going to do that again. But killing is wrong. Yeah. So it's kind of like that's how the Yellows feel about their situation. They're using fear to police something in a way that they think is the right way to do it, so it doesn't keep happening. Just like, the Reds don't feel like they're being wrong for what they're doing because they want their vengeance or whatever. It's a moral question. You got to decide for you if how they do it or how they go about it, if that makes them evil or a bad guy or a villain.
Yeah. It's funny the way that Jeff Johns set up the spectrum, and he did it so perfectly. And I think the colors matched exactly what they need to like represent. Where if you look at green is dead center, willpower, it's dead center. And as if you veer off on either side, you have yellow and blue, which, you know, are getting a little bit farther away from that good determination, willpower. And so I like that the further you get to like red, and you get to like love. And so it's like the one of the greatest things is love, and on the side of good is love, and then rage on the other side. Like the way that the whole spectrum came out, it's just like it's genius. It's genius. It worked out so perfectly. And I, you know, of course violet will be love, because that's what we associate with like Valentine's Day. But just the fact that Star Sapphire was set up in like the 60s, and she had like the powers, and even though it looks mostly pink, the Star Sapphire, the actual stone is violet, and he just did a little bit of tweaking to make all of that work. And it's pretty perfect. So, you know, I feel like the farther you're away from green, it's the extremes. And I think that with yellow right next to green, that there's some wiggle room in there where it's not all the way bad. Whereas rage, when you're the farthest away from green, is all the way bad. And when you're love, you're the farthest away from green, and it's all the love. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. Cloned Avenger brings up something I really want to talk about. You kind of hinted a little bit at. You saw that Daryl Banks will be on issue 600. That's exciting. I would love for Johns to do a short story or something for it. I'd love for Johns to do anything.
Yeah, please.
Because he's the best. I'm excited for 600. As most of you know, we are getting a new design for Kyle. And you had a discussion with David Nakayama on your channel, Green Lanterns podcast, for like it's like an hour-long interview that goes by so fast, and I wish I could have listened to another hour, because it was awesome. I loved it, and I love the Kyle design. I wish they had the wide eyes, but that's something that he said can, depending on the artist.
Yeah, it was just really fun to break down like the thought process behind why each of the decisions was made. Obviously, not everybody's going to agree with every decision, but there were things that I think he helped alleviate some concerns. But also, it was really enjoyable to talk to somebody about Kyle Rayner and Green Lantern, and they weren't just doing this as a job. Like, of course, it's work for them, but he genuinely loves Kyle Rayner as a character. He grew up with Kyle. That's like his favorite, just like me. Like, it was very enjoyable to have that conversation. But yeah, he's getting a redesigned look in issue 600. It's going to be a big deal for Kyle. And then he also hinted at towards the end of the interview that Kyle's not the only character that he will have a hand in redesigning. He did say it will. He said, I don't want to get your hopes up, but it's not Hal and it's not Guy. And he said, but I think he said something along the lines of it's somebody who is close or has some sort of impact on Kyle, which could be so many people. But it'll just be
my hope.
Yeah, it could be, and it could be John, because I'm hoping that through Green Lantern Corps, we are coming to the end of like the 2 John thing, and one being so attached to these living constructs that I don't personally love. But I think in the last issue, they did great with them.
Yeah.
But maybe when he comes out of that, he needs a redesign himself, because it's a new era for John as well. But yeah, 600 should be huge. The names that are attached to it. I said this in my interview, but to try to fathom 600 is just absolutely bonkers to me. Compare that to most other heroes, Marvel or DC or independent, and you're probably not getting close for the bulk of them to the amount of Green Lantern content we've been blessed with since, the beginning of this journey when Alan Scott first appeared until now. Like, it's just wild what we've been given. And then still somehow only one real movie.
Dude, it's nuts. Somebody was on responded to a post I commented on a YouTube channel. I think it was over at Boba Talks. He was talking about Clayface, and I was like, this is great. Clayface is such a great idea. A low budget horror movie that will almost guarantee it make its money back.
Oh yeah,
like, first weekend and stuff. Like, it's usually these movies are so overblown and overdone, and there's so much, and it's this big spectacle, and it's like hundreds of $1 million to make. And it's like, I like the first Shazam movie because it's such a smaller, lower budget, like fun movie with its like low stakes. And so I was just like, I'm excited for that. And someone complained to me, they're like, oh, well, why didn't they how come we're not getting a Scarecrow movie? And I'm like, dude, we're getting Clayface in live action for the first time. We've seen Scarecrow in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. And it's like perspective, because everybody wants something and everybody's like, Clayface. It's like, great. We're getting a Clayface movie. Maybe Batman will be in there. We've got a ton of Batman movies. We've got a ton of Superman movies. We got the first Supergirl movie since the 80s. We had a whole Supergirl show that went on for 4 or 5 seasons.
Yep.
Guys,
we've had a Flash show, 7 seasons. We had a Flash movie.
The only thing I want to hear complaints about not getting a movie is Green Lantern. Because again, we only got that one. And then today there was I forget the show. I probably should have jotted it down. I sent that to you. I think I sent you the video.
The Happy, Sad, Confused podcast?
Yeah, the Happy, Sad, Confused had Walker Scoble on it. The kid who plays Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so my mind was blown. This kid's young. And so he was a very impressionable young kid.
I just want to say, it cracked me up every time he answered something, and he was like, when I was a kid. And in my head, I was like, brother, you're still a kid.
Yeah, you're just like
enjoy being young.
Right. But he was the right age and was a massive fan of the Green Lantern movie, and then went on to do the Atom Project with Ryan Reynolds, and that's the first thing he started talking about was Green Lantern. So what I did, I don't think anything's going to come of this. I reached out to his publicists, all 3 of them.
That's smart.
I said, hey, if he wants to come on and talk about Green Lantern for a half hour, I would love to. I said, I'm one of the premier Green Lantern YouTube channels and would love to have him. He can come on and promote anything he wants, and he could talk about his Green Lantern birthday because he had a Green Lantern birthday.
Sound like an epic birthday.
Dude, the interviewer was like, were you wearing a Green Lantern outfit? He said, no, just a shirt. But for me, a kid, anyone wearing a Green Lantern shirt, you had to be a pretty diehard fan to do that. But then he gave all his friends, when they came over for the birthday party, he gave them all Green Lantern rings.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude.
And they had a Green Lantern cake.
I'm gonna be 49 in a month and a half, and this is the party I want.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
A bunch of rings to my friends. They're all going to be confused, but I want to get this kid on because I have yet to do a deep dive review of 2011's Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he'd be a great guest to have. He'd be a real great guest to have. And Ryan Reynolds, who I've reached out to as well. But that was a while ago. I don't think they're going to get back to me.
He's busy doing non-GL things.
Yeah, I know. But that's what drives me nuts about us not getting another Green Lantern movie. Ryan Reynolds fucked up royally. Well, it wasn't him that fucked up. Fox Studios fucked up with his Deadpool in Wolverine Origins. It was bad.
Yes.
The Merc with the mouth had no mouth. Like,
yes,
everything about it was wrong. Everything was wrong about it. But he jumped at the chance and he wanted to do it, and he disappointed all the fans. Right?
Yep.
But then he gets his own. But then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to leak my own Deadpool mini movie and totally get to do the character the right way." The problem with him is the fans weren't happy with his Green Lantern, and instead of being a champion to make it right, he's just been dumping on it ever since in his blockbuster movies, and it's just like, man. Someone's got to be a champion. So this Walker, I want to say
Walker Scoble.
Walker Scoble. Let's get this kid to. He's probably of a good age. We could dye his hair black. He seems like a good kid. Does these TV action movies? Let's get him in season 2 of Lanterns. Let's get a Kyle Rayner going.
I'm not anti that at all. I was also thinking, maybe if people wanted a younger version of Hal, the kid has grown up a lot since season 1 of Percy Jackson to now season 2. Like, by the time it comes time to film something for Green Lantern, he's in good shape. Like, he could bulk up a bit. Decent actor. Like,
if Kyle Chandler dies in season 1 of Lanterns, which people are afraid of, then we can totally have this kid be the rebirth version of Hal Jordan.
I also don't think he's going to die.
I don't think he's going to die. I don't know what this show's going to be. I don't even know if there's going to be Green Lantern stuff in it. They haven't showed us jack squat. I'm so mad. Where is that trailer, the Argentinian trailer that everybody has seen but us?
Yeah, that's got to come soon. It's
in the
not
world
fair.
In the world of leaks, like why does Lanterns have to be the one thing that's like sewn up tighter than anything else?
What's crazy is I just saw an article today from the Direct or something like that, and they were talking to Jeremy Irvine, who was going to play, I can't remember if he was going to play Alan Scott or if he was going to play Guy Gardner in the original Green Lantern show that HBO was going to do.
Oh, yeah.
And he made a comment in there about how he probably signed more NDAs for the Green Lantern show than anything else he's ever done or ever been on, period.
Right.
Like, it's so secretive with HBO and DC. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Until I see the footage that some of the press apparently saw in, like, Brazil, y'all are liars. Leak it. My DMs are open.
Get Ryan Reynolds to do it.
You can email me at will@greenlanternspodcast.com and send me a .mov file. I don't believe y'all until I see it. I think you're just pulling my leg, talking about the suit and stuff. I don't believe you until I see it. Send it, please. Please send it.
Speaking of .mov files, I have a new shirt at my merch store.
Mm-hmm.
It's Lanterns.mov.
That file that got everybody in a tizzy.
Dang. Yeah. David says first Deadpool film was shoestring and amazing. Again,
yeah.
Small budgets. You don't have to take these big risks with these superhero things. And I guess that's what they're doing with Lanterns, right?
I think the show has a pretty healthy budget. It's not what the original show budget was going to be.
Berlanti budget.
That
Berlanti budget.
Yeah, I think I would have loved to have seen some sort of footage from that, but just reading the entire history of everything around that show and what they were trying to make that show be, it was just too spread too far out there for me to believe that it was gonna be great. And I feel like maybe it was a blessing in disguise that we're getting something a little bit more compact and not so... Like, they wanted this show to be a show on HBO that hits all 4 quadrants. That's young people, old people, men, women. Everybody tunes in. And they were also going to do this where it was a show that we were going to bounce from timeline to timeline. Shots in the past with Alan, and then, like, the newer stuff with Guy. And there was going to be side Lantern characters like Jessica. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot. If they would have nailed it, it would have been like the greatest thing ever. But it's just the amount of wiggle room that they had to make it not great, I think could have potentially put us at that risk of, well, we tried a Lanterns movie, it bombed. We tried a Lantern show, it bombed. Maybe we cool off on the Green Lantern stuff for a while.
But again, it comes back to Ryan Reynolds, like keeping that bomb fresh in everybody's mind. Like there's been worse movies that he's been in that have bombed worst.
Yeah.
R.I.P.D. was abysmal. And it's just like, why pick on that one? I
feel like he's just using it like armor. Like he's feeling like if I pick on it, then people can't pick on me for it. Like I'm already doing it.
There's a different version of Secret Origins, which I gifted to my friend Mark, friend of the show Mark, where it has a foreword by Ryan Reynolds. Like they reprinted this. It's a black cover, Ivan Reis cover, and for like a couple of years, he was knee deep into Green Lantern fandom and Green Lantern lore. And I was sitting in Hall H when he gave a ring to a kid for asking the kid. The kid came up and asked him, could he recite the Green Lantern oath? It was amazing. Being in the room, it was amazing. He did the oath, gave the kid a ring. Like he was there. He was doing it. He was being the champion for Hal Jordan. And he had to have gotten some sense of what this fandom is like, and then just completely turned his back on us, and it sucked.
Yeah, I think he just doesn't want to get hurt. He knows it was going to get brought up, so he just makes fun of it before others can.
Yeah, maybe.
But now it's played out.
Yeah. David says Ryan Reynolds dumping is the reason why I drifted away from GL Nathan Fillion brought me back. I'm so happy we're at where we are. I'm so happy. That's another dude I want on this show. I'm in touch. I'm in touch with his people. As soon as he starts talking about Green Lantern again, I'm on their list. I'm in their files. So fingers crossed, keep your blue rings shining bright for a possible like Nathan F. Fillion appearance on here. Cause the dude like Guy Gardner shows up in like a recent issue of like Superman or something. Vactor was telling me about this. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, the only reason that's happening is because of the movie.
Yeah.
And people know Guy Gardner now. It's just nuts. I think a lot of people were shitting on the fact that James Gunn chose Guy Gardner to be the one that was in Superman. They're like, it's got to be Hal. It's got to be Hal. Tell me that wasn't the perfect move. Like having Nathan Fillion come in as Guy Gardner, tell me that wasn't the perfect move.
No, and he killed
exactly
this guy.
What that movie needed. And I'm glad he loves playing Guy Gardner. I love that he showed up in Peacemaker. I'm glad he's showing up in Lanterns in some capacity. I kind of hope he's in Supergirl, but I feel like we would have figured that out by now. So
I feel like if there was going to be some overlap, maybe it's going to be edited out in post now. I thought that because of Lobo's appearance in Supergirl, it was the perfect move to put Guy Gardner in the movie as well. Because Guy has a storied past with Lobo. And I thought the perfect way to do it, which falls in line with the information we've been giving about the Lanterns teaser trailers, that John has another trainer and he gets replaced for some reason by Hal Jordan, and Hal's reluctant to do it. I thought it would have been cool if Lanterns came out first, and after a few episodes, Guy's telling John, I gotta go, because he's gonna go meet up with Lobo or look for Lobo. So he gets to go do an appearance in the Supergirl movie. And then that's why Hal replaces him as the trainer, but it is what it is. I think if that was kind of the plan, it would definitely be edited out in post now.
Here's the thing. I feel like Lobo's going to get spun off into his own movie.
I mean, it's Jason Momoa.
Yeah. I think Supergirl's going to be a great introduction. And if there's a Lobo movie, you got to have Guy in there.
Have to.
Gotta have Guy in there. Like I want to see that so bad. Casey referred to me as Ralphie. Will and you, both of us, I guess, what makes you believe Clayface will be any good? I don't know. I don't think I don't know if it'll be good or not, but what I think is, because it's a low budget, it's not a big risk for DC to do this movie.
I think that there's a couple things in there that gives me good hope for it. One is the lead actor is a stud. I trust that he's going to put in a really great performance. Another thing is, because it is low budget, I expect them to have to get creative in it, and they'll have to do things practically or use CGI where it makes sense because it would be cheaper. But usually things where the budget isn't as high as like a Superman type movie, it gets the creative juices flowing with the team behind the cameras and that work on it to not like push technology, but usually like when stuff like this comes out, that's when there's like these epiphanies that people have. Like, oh, we can do this way, or we can do this way, and it doesn't cost a bunch of money, or because we don't have the budget, we're going to film it from this angle over here to kind of hide these things. I think Superman was a good movie. I think that Peacemaker Season 2 was good. I think that Supergirl is probably going to be a good movie. I have the ultimate faith that Lanterns is going to be very good. If they continue to ride this high, then when you get to a Clayface movie that costs only $60 million to make, it doesn't need a ton of profit return. But like the number one thing that gives me hope for it is, as we've seen so far, James Gunn is only approving things if it has a solid script. So the story has to be pretty good. And if the story's good, even low budget, if DC continues to ride this wave, it may be like a $300-400 million profit film off a $60 million budget. And then that, I would believe, would enable DC / Netflix / HBO / whoever owns it at the time to go, that small budget, like horror style that we did with Clayface, I wonder if we could do something not like Saw, but something scary in the mold with Constantine, or maybe we could do something with a Scarecrow, or hey, Dead what other villains aren't we using? Exactly, Deadman, even though he just popped up in JL5 and it's the worst issue out of the Justice League Red issue so far. But like they can do these other things, or they can go niche with it. They can have these very, very over the top Five Nights at Freddy's style, where you don't have this massive expectation for this thing to be great, but like they can introduce more characters into the world and different types of stories. But I think the guy who's playing Clayface is going to absolutely smash it in the role. And I've been hearing some rumors that he is being looked at to play a massive role in some other massive IPs.
Yeah. So here's the thing too, is when you have a big budget movie like Superman and Warner Brothers is throwing all this money at this project, that's when studio heads start showing up to make sure everything's going well and seeing how the production is spending the money and if they're staying on budget. Yeah. If it's a lower budget one, you're going to have less studio heads coming around, which means you're going to have less cooks in the kitchen, which means you're going to let the director and the writer who you hired do their own thing and see their vision through. And so for me, it's literally more money, more problems. If your mom gives you $500 and says, go to the mall, she's really going to want to know what you got. If she hands you $20, she's not going to care.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that you're spending their money wisely. And when it's not a lot of money, it's less of a risk. And so I think that's a good thing for the movie. And also, I would rather have like 4 DC movies that are $50 million budgets than one that's a $200 million budget movie.
Yeah, as long as they're
more DC than
unique and they have their own feel, and it's not just big character thing after big character thing after big character thing, and it feels like they're all just working towards the same plot. Like if Clayface is its own thing that doesn't have to get impacted by these other things, and like you said, it's the original vision from the people who pitched it to James Gunn with their script that he signed off on, and you don't have the studio heads interfering and being like, oh, you know what? This needs a love triangle. If they avoid stuff like that and you're just getting the true vision, it doesn't have to make a ton of money for it to be profitable. And again, it will allow them the confidence to be able to continue to do these smaller budget movies and stories and, you know, go win at the box office. Like you said, maybe sometimes you always prefer quality over quantity, but sometimes, you know, the quantity is nice. If they can do a whole bunch of these for the cost of one other mega film, I think that that's a cool approach too.
I like the approach of a Supergirl and a Clayface in a year. So do one big budget and one lower budget, get 2 a year, and the second one, the lower budget one, is a bigger, like, crazier idea. Cloned Avenger says, I would love to see a Jeff Johns Lanterns TV series fully realized. Yeah, I think we all would.
Yeah.
I would even that would cost a lot of money.
You got to start fundraising now.
I'd take a restart of Green Lantern the animated series, a continuation of that show.
That would be
I wouldn't
excellent.
even mind like a sort of a limited animated series, like along the lines of Invincible, that really adapts Jeff Johns, where they do like these 8-hour-long animated episodes that really kind of cover the main story arcs from Jeff Johns. Like, I'd love to have like just a Green Lantern series and then do a Sinestro Corps and then do a Red Lantern season and then a Blackest Night as like a finale. Like, just do that, like stretched out over the course of like 6 seasons. I'd be totally down with that too, because I think Invincible is a great adaptation.
I love Invincible.
Of a comic book. Yeah. I have an Invincible show. When they release them, go check it out. Invincible.
I'm already subbed.
Yeah. Green Lantern in 2011 was not great, but nowhere near as horrific as Superman that came out last summer. I don't know about that. I
Thought Superman was horrific? I don't know about that.
I'm happy we have both. I'm fine with bad DC. I won't watch them a bunch of times. I really had a good time watching Blue Beetle. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Like there's different flavors, which is what I like. If you're like, there was a time where if you weren't a fan of Ben Affleck, you could see Robert Pattinson, or you can also see George Clooney and Michael Keaton. Like you can get like different flavors. Not everything has to be for everybody, and there's nothing that's for everybody. So if you're not into Superman, hopefully you like Supergirl or Clayface or Peacemaker. There's going to be something for you. The DCU just started. I mean, it's been only like, 7 months? Not even that, since Superman came out, the first movie.
Yeah.
And we had that, Peacemaker. We're getting Supergirl, Lanterns, Clayface. Wonder Woman's being worked on.
We'll get a Creature Commandos season 2.
Creature Commandos. So it's like,
they just announced a new character that's going to be in it.
Yeah. So, I mean, just be patient. Be patient. We'll get around to stuff that you like. I didn't think Superman was horrific, though.
I thought it was good. It's the first Superman movie that I actually enjoyed.
I mean, I'll say it. Like, I think the Donner movies are overrated. I just don't love Superman. Yeah. I think the ending of Superman 1 is one of the stupidest things ever put on screen, where he spins the world backwards and turns back time.
Yeah, cool idea.
Well, not even a cool idea. Like, I feel like basically instead of showing the world turn backwards, if it just was, he was like entering the Speed Force and he traveled back in time.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That would make more sense.
If the world starts spinning backwards, we're all flying off into space. That's how science works. So for me, I like that movie up until that point, and I'm just like, God, you just that was the worst. And that was supposed to be the ending of Superman 2. That once Donner was gone, they took the ending of Superman 2, put it in Superman 1, and it's whatever. Superman's tough. I liked Man of Steel a lot. I think Man of Steel up until this latest Superman movie, I think Man of Steel was my favorite Superman movie. It was interesting. It was this guy struggling to deal with the superpowers, and it was such a weight on him. And it's basically at the end, you realize, oh, this is the secret origin of how he's able to settle down and become Clark Kent. Like, it's Clark Kent's secret origins, not Superman's. And I thought that was really fun. Him riding on his bike with his tie flapping in the wind like a cape and stuff. And he gets the job at the Daily Planet and stuff. Like, I think Man of Steel is great, but I also really like Superman. I think Superman 2025 is my favorite Superman movie. I don't think it's horrific. You may not like it, but I don't think it's horrific. Besides, like, it gave us the first live act. Well, I guess not the first. It gave us a live action Guy Gardner. So I still have to watch that pilot, that Justice League pilot with that Guy Gardner with the vest and the Kyle Rayner mask.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. Thinks the GL movie is mostly average. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's a Cliff's Notes version. It's a bullet point version of Green Lantern.
Yeah,
I feel like they if you read the Green Lantern art book, Constructing Green Lantern from page to screen, you could see that stuff was cut. And I heard that basically Hal Jordan was supposed to take the fight to Oa, and the Green Lantern Corps were going to fight Parallax on Oa, right in front of basically right in front of the Guardians, and the Guardians were finally like, oh no, we've been putting a blind eye towards this Parallax problem. Like, and then the sun is actually the sun from Oa that Hal takes him to. And that's why Kilowog and Sinestro and Tomar Ray just show up at the end without helping out the fight. They were supposed to help out. They were on the streets of Coast City. If you look at the artwork, they were there the whole time helping Hal out. But WB just cut so much shit out of that movie. They started slashing the budget, and they admitted that they're the reasons why that Green Lantern movie was a failure. So
a lot of interference.
That's why I'm excited about Clayface, because it's not a big budget and you're going to get less interference. It's just that thing they're doing over there. So, yeah. Chances of Superboy popping up in Man. Oh, did that go away? Oh, yeah, here it is. Chances on Superboy popping up in Man of Tomorrow. Great, sure. I'm up for anybody, but I don't know what the chances are. I haven't read The Woman of Tomorrow. But I don't think he would show up there. But Man of Tomorrow, who knows? I just want John to show up. That's all I want.
Yeah.
And Hal, if he's still alive. All right. I think we've talked enough. We've been at it for an hour and 7 minutes already. Holy smokes. This is the cowboy. Yeah. Happy New Year's Eve. Yeah, yep. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve. I hope everybody
close.
Listen. Just a couple of days, we're going to be in the year where a new Green Lantern thing's coming out, the series. So I'm hoping time flies. I'm hoping the way things work. Usually HBO starts promoting things and sending out trailers 6 months before things start airing. So I'm thinking February. Might I suggest February the 18th? That is my birthday. If they release the trailer then, I'll know they are truly watching this channel. And not just to pull down content from my site. I forget who's playing Clayface. He's
Tom Reese Harris, I think is his name.
Yeah,
Tom Reese Harris.
Yeah. Definitely read Woman of Tomorrow. I think I'm going to do that. But I need to read this Alan Scott book. Everyone have a safe New Year's Eve. If you're going to be drinking like me, order a highball.
There you
go. Make sure you have a designated driver or a safe way to get home, or use Lyft or something. Be safe out there, because you're not going to want to miss any Green Lantern stuff coming in 2026. So everybody follow Will at Green Lanterns Podcast. Will can give you the details now.
Yeah, just head over to greenlanternspodcast.com. You'll see written reviews for comic books on the website, but as I drop new long-form YouTube videos, they will pop up as well. That's where I'll do most of my stuff. And there's links to all my socials, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, whatever you are on, I'm probably on there as well. Yeah, that's the easiest way to find what I'm up to and what I'm doing.
And the new site looks great.
I love it every single time I log in, or like I go hit publish on an article and then I go load the page myself to go see how it looks. Yeah, Hector Lizard did an amazing job with it, and it was nice of him to have it done in time for the completely unexpected Lanterns teaser that dropped.
Really unexpected. It took me. I got that studio pretty fast at 5 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez Louise. My poor wife. Will, 2025 has been awesome, and you're a huge part of that. Thank you so much for everything you've done for this channel. Not just on the show, but like behind the scenes, and your words of encouragement. 2025 has been the best, especially for Lanterns Live. It's been just amazing. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to 2026. Dude, like, things are going to go off. Green Lantern 600 is coming in March, I think.
Yep.
And hopefully like February, we're going to get that trailer, and hopefully we'll see what these suits look like.
Yep. Got a couple things coming. Closer. Lanterns obviously is going to be the big one for GL fans. There's going to be, I think, a Super Friends show that features a Green Lantern character. And then there is My Adventures with Green Lantern should be done with all of the art and voicing in 2026. I'm not sure if that's going to make the cut for launching in 2026, but yeah, I'm at this point, I would guess 2027 on that. I'm not 100% sure. I think they could put it out towards the end of 2026 if they wanted.
Yeah. Well, we'll probably see something.
Yeah.
Probably get some character designs and stuff. I can't wait to see this Kyle, the animated Kyle.
Yeah. Yep. Nervous but excited.
So, yeah. So everybody, do me a favor. Everybody in the chat, everybody watching this on replay, go tell your friends about the show, because we want to have more guests. I love having both Jeremy Adams and Morgan Hampton on the show this past year, and I'm looking forward to getting some more Green Lantern creators, people who bring these characters to life. I'd love to have them on the show. So tell all your friends, subscribe, join, do all the things. Until next time, beware my podcast. It's Lanterns Live. Bye, everyone.